I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start, but as we saw, he came to my ears and whispered, "Please be easy on me." He thought I'm Mike Tyson and I will follow his script 40 seconds after I broke the clown's jaw. We are boxers, not content creators. I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start, but as we saw, I didn't want to put him down early. You all know I was handcuffed. I don't want to say anything that I will be regretting in the future, but all I can say now is the first 20 seconds was enough for me to end Jake Paul.
It's like this is the clearest fixed fight you're ever gonna see. But look at this guy holding his hands up and watch. Look at that. He literally shows him his chin, and he goes down. It's so fake. Look at, he's got nothing. It's like a guy who just learned boxing.
The day after I woke up and told my wife, "Why did I do that?" I don't know. I just don't know what the hell goes on.
Who just had a boxing match that looks like a sparring match with a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. And then you're going to fight one of the absolute scariest knockout artists in the heavyweight division.
That gap between what people expected and what actually happened is where the truth slips through, and right now it's leaking everywhere if you stop pretending not to see it. The part about Tyson still bothers me because memory loss isn't some funny story, it's a warning sign. Those things don't just happen randomly. Whether it's something physical, mental, or something in between that no one wants to admit, it creates an uneasiness that was never really dealt with, only buried under the hype. Now Joshua's punch brought it all back up again, and it makes you ask, who allowed this to happen? Who looked at that plan and said yes?
That guy did great for someone who's been boxing for less than a decade. He has had no real professional opponents other than Tommy Fury that were legitimate world-class boxers.
I don't even remember. Professional fighters see things differently when they watch fight footage, and this one shook people behind the scenes. They didn't see a spectacle, they saw precision, timing, and intent. What they noticed was a man realizing too late that the rules had changed, and that realization brings fear because it means the safety everyone assumed was there never really existed. When that illusion disappears, careers fall apart fast. That's why Rogan's reaction changed, not out of judgment, but awareness. He's seen what happens when damage crosses the line. He knows when something's about to become a headline, and you can bet that the executives imagined every worst-case scenario long before the fight even started. That's why what we're seeing now feels like public relations in motion. Calm faces on camera, chaos behind doors. The longer it takes for clear answers to come out, the more suspicious everything feels. If this situation were clean, the truth would have come out instantly. Instead, every pause sounds like negotiation. Every delay feels like pressure. So when you hear silence, think of deals being made. When people hesitate, ask yourself, who gains from keeping things blurry?
Oh no, I don't remember the fight that much. I kind of blanked out a little. Listen, know what I remember? Coming back from the first round, and then the next day I remember Jake is doing some kind of, I don't know, what was he doing at the ring?
Oh yeah, a little bow at the end, he bowed.
And that's the last thing I remember. But the day after the fight, the day after I woke up and told my wife, "Why did I do that?" I don't know. I just don't know what the hell goes on.
What did you think of Jake's power, man, when you were in there?
I don't remember it, but my body was really sore. Yeah, my body, my chest, my stomach and stuff was really sore.
I keep thinking about Joshua, not as a hero or a villain, but as the spark that exposed the problem earlier than anyone wanted. He didn't cause it, he just revealed it. And once something like that gets exposed, control disappears. Control was the real power here. Control over outcomes, stories, and public perception. But one punch tore that control apart, and power never slips away quietly. Expect pushback. Expect the story to twist. Expect people to remember events differently, because once control is lost, everyone grabs for something, even if it means clinging to a lie.
Also nuts, right? Just the fact that he's willing to fight the two-time heavyweight champion, former Olympic gold medalist, a guy who's gigantic in his prime, built like a Greek god. And you're gonna stand, and he's a one-punch killer, and you're gonna stand in front.
Some people will shrug this off and say, it's boxing. Injuries happen. That's lazy. Context matters. This entire setup was built on marketing promises of legitimacy that were never fully earned. When hype outpaces reality, someone always ends up paying the price, and this time the cost came in bones and metal. Now everyone's trying to pass that responsibility around, hoping it lands somewhere else. I don't believe Jake Paul is evil. He's a product, and products get pushed until they break. When they finally do, people stop talking about dreams and start arguing over warranties.
It's you could only take so much. And at a certain, like that one that he got from Joshua, ooh, you know, say if you have like a punch card, you have like so many punches that you can get in your life, which I believe you do. I believe there's a certain number. That one was like 10 bunches. That was like, there was a lot of concussions in that one punch.
Sure.
That was real damage.
Here's the chilling part. The ripple effect has already started. Fighters are second-guessing themselves. Athletic commissions are asking tougher questions, and insurance companies are getting nervous. The easy money that kept this machine running is starting to look fragile, and when quick cash dries up, loyalty fades fast. Praise turns to distance. Fans aren't blind. They enjoy the show, but they respect authenticity. Joshua gave them that. Raw and real. Once people get a taste of genuine competition again, watered-down versions stop selling. That's what really scares the people who rely on smoke and mirrors to keep the business alive.
In pain?
Yeah, but it's not from like talking.
Talk to me about what your jaw feels like, because you got
It's like a baseball in there.
two plates?
It just feels like
4 titanium plates.
4 titanium plates. How many do you have?
Just one. I keep wondering what happens if Jake Paul tries to come back. Not physically, but mentally. Once you've felt what it's like to break, the ring never feels the same again. Every step feels heavier, every breath tighter, confidence becomes an act, and fake confidence gets fighters hurt. That's not opinion, that's history, and history always comes back around. Behind all of this sits the legal and regulatory side that no one wants to mention. Commissions hate being embarrassed, and this whole event was one long public embarrassment. The consequences will unfold quietly, and right now we're only seeing the polished version. The real conversations, the messy ones, are happening privately, where blame is being assigned and stories are being reshaped. Those rooms, not the press conferences, will decide what happens next. Influencer boxing won't disappear overnight, but something in it broke. It's like a poisoned well. No one admits it's poisoned at first, but over time, everyone who drinks from it gets sick. That's how this ends. Not with a loud collapse, but with silence. And silence is dangerous when your whole model depends on noise. The real question is, who goes quiet first? What lingers isn't the knockout, it's that collective pause when everyone realized something irreversible just happened. You can't fix that with PR. Once a moment crosses that line, it doesn't go away, it just grows heavier. Right now, the whole thing feels unstable, like we're standing on something that's still cracking beneath our feet. And I can't shake the feeling that something else, something bigger is still hidden underneath, waiting to surface.
I'm just hoping after this Floyd fight, maybe we can have a rematch. He did well, but I want to try it again.
Is that something that you would be interested in terms of righting the wrong and not the
I would be interested. Yes, I would. I would be interested in that.
This ends with athletic commissions panicking, insurance companies freezing calls, and the entire business model bleeding out in public. Rewind to the exact moment it started. Reality punched through the script. The second Joshua treated Jake like any other opponent, the illusion shattered. The silence that followed was louder than the cheers. If you think this was just a knockout, you're missing the real disaster. Each replay makes it worse. This wasn't about a man getting hurt, it was about power slipping away in real time. When things are honest, people speak fast and clear. But right now, all we're hearing are cautious words and nervous pauses. Ask yourself why. Who's holding back? Who's counting favors? What are they afraid might leak next? Here's the truth. Jake Paul didn't build a boxing career. He built a controlled bubble, and that bubble worked until someone refused to play along. Joshua didn't rebel, he just acted like a real fighter, and that's what broke the illusion, because when normal shows up, the whole experiment collapses. If this makes you uneasy, it should. That feeling means the illusion cracked. People keep praising bravery, but bravery without awareness is a liability, and that liability doesn't fall on fighters, it falls on the people signing the papers. They approved this match, knowing the risks, and now they're running from accountability. Every time they shift the topic to toughness, they're dodging judgment. Count how many times that happens. The injury matters, but the real story is the precedent. Once you test a brand against genuine elite competition, you expose its ceiling, and that ceiling is real. From now on, every influencer fight will exist under Joshua's shadow, a shadow that stripped promoters of their favorite excuse. We don't know yet. Well, now they do. The panic we're seeing isn't about the punch, it's about the fallout. Boxing's history is filled with moments where entertainment pushed too far, then paid for it later. It always goes the same way. Excitement, curiosity, concern, regret. And that's exactly where we are, stuck between concern and regret. No one involved was naive. They knew what they were risking. Joshua didn't plan to expose anyone, but he did. Jake Paul didn't plan to become a cautionary tale, but now he is. The promoters, the commissions, the executives, none of them are villains, but they knew the risks and smiled anyway. That's what makes it worse. Rogan's shift in tone said everything. He's seen real damage before. He's talked to fighters who never fully came back. When Rogan gets quiet, it's not for drama, it's because he recognizes what's unfolding. Jake Paul is brave and ambitious, but ambition doesn't cancel physics. Standing across from Joshua, he wasn't facing a YouTuber's rival, he was facing a man built for this life. Joshua didn't fight angry, he fought like a professional, and that's what destroyed the illusion. Because when an elite does their job without emotion, it exposes everything fake around them. Eddie Hearn knows boxing history. He knows how often lines get blurred between show business and sport. His careful tone afterward wasn't strategy, it was recognition. He's seen this movie before and he knows what happens next. Regulators never forget embarrassment, and this night will stick. It'll slow approvals, tighten oversight, and affect not only Jake Paul, but anyone who tries to follow in his footsteps. Tyson's name being tied to this makes it even heavier, because he's lived through what happens when entertainment consumes fighters. Ignoring his warnings wasn't respect, it was denial. Fans will always pick sides, but deep down, they know this crossed a line. Many felt that mix of thrill and discomfort watching Joshua land clean. It was real boxing, and it was too real for comfort. Dana White can pretend it doesn't affect the UFC, but it does. Once people are reminded of what elite-level combat truly looks like, the illusion of influencer parody fades. Experience gaps aren't fun anymore, they're dangerous. Jake Paul isn't finished, but he's changed. Once you've been hit that hard, your confidence rewrites itself. The ring starts to feel smaller. That change doesn't show on social media, but every real fighter knows it's there. The promoter's loyalty will shift the second the math changes, and now it has. Risk is up and excuses are gone. When those lines cross, everyone suddenly acts cautious, pretending they saw it coming. But if they really had, they wouldn't have booked this fight. Even the sparring partners who warned about the gap are probably sick to their stomachs now. Being right doesn't feel good when someone gets hurt. The media will play innocent, but their thumbnails told the story. Hype sells until fear threatens the money, then everyone backs away. Joshua will move on, as top fighters always do. But this fight will stick to his legacy as the moment that ended a narrative, not out of cruelty but clarity. And for those calling it inevitable, that doesn't make it right. Inevitable doesn't erase choice. People knew the risks and they pushed forward anyway. That's not fate, that's a decision. Years from now, this night will be whispered about in backrooms as the reason certain deals never happen again. Jake Paul's empire was built on control, and Joshua broke it in less than a minute. Now Jake's not selling confidence, he's selling recovery, and that's a much harder story to sell. Behind the scenes, there are messages flying between managers and promoters that we'll never see, and they all say the same thing: we can't risk that again. Influencer boxing isn't dead, but it's been humbled. The truth about skill gaps is out now, and once that's accepted, the stage shrinks. Fewer fights, fewer headlines, less noise. As a fan, it doesn't feel exciting anymore. It feels uneasy, because now the line between entertainment and danger is visible again, and once you see that line, you can't unsee it. Industries change slowly at first, then all at once. This is that slow part, right before everything breaks. Hit like, subscribe, and keep watching, because this story isn't done. It's only starting to crack open.